Nosworth Thar, a very warm welcome to the Stoke Kai Ras. Wrexham straight back into Sky Bet Championship action tonight. Just 3 days from their epic effort against World Club champions Chelsea. Phil Parkinson's side are right back on the Sky Bet Championship hunt. Fellow playoff challengers Hull City make the schlep across from East Yorkshire. Wrexham going toe-to-toe with key rivals just 72 hours or so after those heroics against the Premier League side. Can they respond tonight? Have they got the legs to see off a Hull City team who've lost their last 2 matches? But they are a team who over the season so far have been involved at the right end of the table for long periods, and in Sergei Yakirovic have a manager who has impressed as he spends his first season in the EFL. Well, I'm delighted that Phil Parkinson, Wrexham manager, is alongside us. Phil, good to see you this evening. 72 hours on from Chelsea. What's it been like in the camp, first of all, in recovering from that match and getting your heads back on championship action tonight?
Yeah, I think it's game on in the league. I said that to the lads yesterday, that we've enjoyed the cup exploits. You know, it was a bit of a landmark type of day Saturday in terms of performance-wise and profile for the club. You know, the exposure the club have had after the game, despite not getting through. But everybody knows the full focus is on tonight's game and the remaining league games.
Now, you've made just the 2 alterations this evening, Phil. A return for Josh Windass in place of George Dobson, which I guess means Lewis O'Brien will drop back into more the number 6 role.
Yeah. And
then Nathan Broadhead returns for Ollie Rathbone. Just those 2 alterations, suggesting then that the players who put the shift in against Chelsea are ready to go again.
Yeah, I think we covered well yesterday. The lads looked decent, and you know, there's a good bit of continuity with that back 3. So yeah, gone with that. Brody gives us, and Josh give us a bit of freshness, and obviously Kiefer getting an injury in the game is obviously a blow, but it's one we've got to deal with.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about Kiefer, Phil, because he doesn't make the bench tonight. What's the background?
Yeah, just he felt his hamstring, and then he was able to train yesterday, but he kind of got it scanned, and there's just a slight split in the tendon, which yeah, you know, it's not ideal, but it's like I've always say, it's part and parcel of football, and that's what a squad's for. And you know, Smudge is doing brilliant for us, and you know, it was a tough call. We was going to start between those 2 anyway, because they probably played about equal game time on Saturday, and we've got Bailey and Jay on the bench as well, plus Davis.
Can I just ask you about Libby Kakachi? Where are things up to with his recovery, Phil? Yeah,
unfortunately with Libby, we just can't seem to get him back to where he needs to be. We get him to a certain stage, and then he has a setback, and it is one which has baffled us. And you know, I feel for Libby a lot, because he's trying everything to get right, but unfortunately, you know, he has had another setback, so I can't really dress it up any more than that.
3 straight wins in the league. You must be going into this one with confidence, particularly with Hull having had 2 defeats in their last 2 games, which has been a bit out of keeping with the season they've had up to that point.
Yeah, they're an interesting side really, because they, you know, score goals, but they concede chances as well. You know, and the stats will suggest that. Obviously got some key attacking players, but there's reasons why they concede chances, and we've got to look to exploit that tonight. I think we've got a good attacking talent on the pitch, and it's going to be a great game. I'm absolutely sure of that. Top 6 clash. Everybody knows the importance of it. Every supporter coming into the ground, I'm sure, is like me, understands the cup's now gone, and the focus is one big push starting with tonight.
Phil, huge thanks for joining us. All the very best for the game.
Thank you.
Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson, who makes 2 alterations to his 11 then tonight from the 11 heroes sent out against Chelsea on Saturday. Let's have a refresh then of that Wrexham team tonight, and then we'll bring our panel in for this evening. Andy Morell, Mia Roberts and Dior Angus joining us tonight, and we'll get their thoughts on this Wrexham team, because as I said to Phil Parkinson in that interview, just 2 changes from him this evening to that 11. Nathan Broadhead coming in for Ollie Rathbone, who moves to the bench, so Broadhead will play in that number 10 role. Josh Windass also coming in for George Dobson, who starts that 3-match suspension after his red card. That will mean that Lewis O'Brien's deep batteries will be tested again tonight, alongside Zach Viner, who impressed in central midfield on his full debut on Saturday. Nice to see a return to the bench for Isa Kabore. Very good evening to Mia and to Andy, and lovely to have Dior Angus with us tonight. Welcome back to Matchday Live, Dior. Lovely to see you. We had the chance to catch up with you briefly earlier this season, but good to see you again tonight. Let me start with you. What did you make of Wrexham's effort against Chelsea on Saturday?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, Chelsea is such a massive club and a team with such quality, and Wrexham matched them all the way, and they were unlucky, weren't they, on the day?
Andy, just the 2 changes tonight. We were speculating, weren't we, post-match on Saturday, of how much rotation there might be, and perhaps a surprise that Phil hasn't rotated more in the light of what it took out of the players?
Possibly, but I think you keep the 3 centre-halves in. I think he's forced to play Viner and O'Brien in the centre. He's got to play Thomason. Longman out on the right. Issa Kapoor is obviously back on the bench, but probably not enough to play a full 90. And so it's the front end that you're going to freshen up, if at all. Kiefer Moore, no, so Sam Smith plays, but he did only play 70-ish minutes on Saturday. And so the 10s are the ones that he can rotate a little bit, and Windass and Broadhead will be itching at the bit, and Rathbone to come on has been a brilliant substitute to have anyway. So I think it sort of picks itself from that, and I'm really looking forward to them going out and performing the way that they did on Saturday, and taking that feeling that it gave the whole of Wrexham, really, and utilising it for the push for the end of the season.
Mia, with no Kiefer Moore as an option on the bench, do you think that increases the chances of Phil trying to get Sam Smith through a full 90, or will it be less likely that that's the case, and instead perhaps we might see for the very first time Bailey Cadamarteri given some minutes?
Yeah, I think we might see him. I think it's also dependent on how the game's going as well, and obviously Sam Smith's levels, because like Andy says, he obviously played 70 or so minutes on Saturday, and I know it was only 70 minutes, not the full 120, but boy, he worked hard, didn't he, up against 2 huge centre halves, and certainly put a graft in. So I'm sure he'll be feeling it still, maybe a little bit from then. But yeah, I think it's a great opportunity now for Cadamarteri to possibly come in and get some minutes and really prove his worth. After last few weeks, he's found it obviously very tough with 2 top strikers in front of him.
Dior, when you play 120 minutes and you're having to work as hard as Wrexham did on Saturday to keep up with a team from a level above, both technically and physically, to go again 3 days later, as a player, do you have to just approach the match thinking, I can't run for every ball perhaps as I normally would, I've got to conserve my energy, or do you take the perspective that you just throw everything at it, and if you have to be withdrawn after an hour, then so be it?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, Chris. I mean, Phil will be saying in the dressing room, look, boys who started and played the full 120, give me everything, and then if I need to bring you off, we've got quality on the bench, which they have done in abundance. So it's just give it all you've got until that time, and then if you blow up, you blow up, and we can replace you with fresh legs.
Andy, my thoughts go back as well to the epic cup tie against Brighton when you were player manager, because I'm pretty sure after that game we had a game a few days later, and there was a bit in the media at the time, and you were on media duty of course, about trying to get players patched up and ready to go again. I'm guessing the difference in this era is the support behind the scenes in nutrition and recovery, which will give the players that extra level of support to get them readied.
Yeah, and there weren't any players about 40 years old that were trying to do that. Yeah, I remember that it was Kettering we played, who were having a difficult time of it anyway, but the game got put back from the Tuesday to the Wednesday, and so we had less recovery time anyway, and I was wheeled out like Silence of the Lambs, do you know what I mean? and just put up in the middle of the front, and like I just stood there and just walked about for a bit. Luckily, we had some good players around us, so we ended up winning 4-1, but it was never a 4-1 scoreline. Kettering were just in a bad place at the time, so we got through it somehow, but I know how tired that I felt after that game, but the recovery and everything these days is just so much far advanced. These boys will be chomping at the bit ready to go again, I'm sure.
So all eyes on the Championship then for the rest of this season. Wrexham's run in the FA Cup coming to a conclusion, so it's league all the way. Let's have a reminder of how the Sky Bet Championship table looks then going into tonight's matches, because these two sides sit next to each other in the top 6. Hull in 5th and Wrexham in 6th place. We'll come to tonight's fixtures in just a moment, but as you can see on screen there, Wrexham just 3 points behind Hull. They could leapfrog the Tigers if they win this evening, but there are of course plenty of teams just behind Wrexham looking to get involved in that playoff picture. Derby County and Southampton, who are enjoying a great FA Cup run, they're still going all the way to the quarter-finals. They lie just behind. If we take a look at the bottom of the table, well, there are some huge clubs who at this stage in the season are in serious trouble of joining Sheffield Wednesday in dropping through the trapdoor. Leicester City and West Bromwich Albion, two in particular, who loiter around that cut-off. Don't forget, 3 teams relegated from the EFL Championship. Tonight's games then, because there are matches happening around the division to keep an eye on. We'll keep you across these, of course, and revisit the final scores and how it affects the league table at full time. Leicester having a shocking season at home to Bristol City. Millwall in terrific form since Christmas face Wrexham's playoff rivals Derby County. Portsmouth in need of a win face Swansea City. Relegated Sheffield Wednesday at home to Watford, and Stoke City a tricky trip for Ipswich Town, Mia. As the saying goes, can you do it on a cold and wet Tuesday night in Stoke? That's the challenge for Ipswich tonight.
Certainly, that's what Kieran McKenna will be asking his players, won't he? But no, tough game. I think another one to watch for me is probably the Derby Millwall as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a big game when you look at the points at the top at the moment in the league table. So a real good few fixtures there tonight to keep an eye on, but you just can't predict it, can you? I mean, Hull, I'm sure we'll come on to, but they faced that Millwall side and played very well, I thought, on the weekend and came out of it 3-1 down. So, you just can't predict it even when you actually watch the performances in game itself.
Well, a key match-up tonight will be as the Wrexham backline try and deal with the threat of Ollie McBurney, and we can have a look now in profile at McBurney and Dom Hyam, because it will be Hyam who will have McBurney for company this evening. Hull have made 4 changes from their team, who were beaten last time out at Millwall, as Mia mentions, and McBurney is certainly a threat at this level. He has often been prolific in the Championship, spent some time away in the Spanish League developing his game, but as you can see on screen, pretty much a 1 goal in every other game ratio. Good in the air, almost 7 duels won per 90 minutes, actually outdoing Dom Hyam on that statistic. And Dior Ollie McBurney, a player with a proven record at this level, who brings multi-dimensional play up front.
Yeah, multi-dimensional, absolutely. He can do a bit of everything and a bit of everything very well. And most importantly, he's a handful. So even if he doesn't score, Dom Hyam's going to know he's in a game. So's Max, so's Callum Doyle. So it's up to them to keep him quiet. And ultimately, if you shut him down, you shut down a lot of Hull's threats.
He's one of those, for me, he's one of those players that is horrible to play against. He's either into you physically because he can deal with the physicality, he can run you down the channels as well. He's got a bit of everything in his locker, and it depends on the game to how he's going to take it to us. Is he going to go up against Dom Hyam and physically try and bully him, or is he going to be the one that just comes off and links play a little bit more? He's fascinating to watch, but he's done really well against us this season so far. Played twice, scored twice. He is a handful, and 14 goals is a really good 1 in 2 for the games he's played. He's a good striker at this level.
And Andy, you mentioned that, and we can actually see now on screen the goals that McBurney has scored against Wrexham so far this season, because he was on target in both the Carling Cup tie earlier this season, which Wrexham eventually prevailed in after a 3-3 draw, thanks to the Ollie Palmer show in injury time. But it was McBurney who led the line for Hull that night. And here in the league fixture in December that Wrexham were beaten in over at the MKM Stadium, it was McBurney again who was on target. Mia, Andy mentioned post-match on Saturday that Dom Hyam is his player of the season so far. What do you think Hyam will be thinking about tonight as he goes about trying to defuse McBurney?
Well, I know he'll be hoping that he's playing alongside him come the summer for Scotland. That'll certainly be on his mind.
That's a nice dimension as well, isn't it?
They'll be hoping to be teammates, I'm sure about that. But no, tonight he'll be hoping he just keeps him right in there in his back pocket. So it's going to be a tough battle, of course it is. But, you know, he had a tough battle on Saturday as well against someone like Liam Delap. And for the most part, I thought he really handled him very well, you know, especially when he had to come inside. I know you could probably pick out that first goal where Delap did get the better of Hyam just early on, but then I thought from there he did manage to actually keep him quite quiet. And I think it's obviously a similar type of build, similar sort of striker tonight for him. But like Andy says, McBurney, he just gets something about him in these games against Wrexham. Obviously former Chester man, isn't he, as well?
Of course, yeah.
So I'm sure he'll get a good welcome tonight, but maybe not.
I wouldn't bet on that. Well, Mia mentions the battle between Dom Hyam and Liam Delap on Saturday. Let's have a reminder of how things went, because it was an FA Cup classic at the Stoke Kairas. It had pretty much everything apart from the right result. Here's a reminder of Wrexham's battle with Chelsea 3 days ago.
As away we go, Chelsea kicking towards the Stoke Cold Brew coffee end. And immediately the Wrexham fans have been making tremendous noise of booing away. Rathbone gets it for then O'Brien, the sort of battling that we were talking about. Tidies her up, Delap, looking to put pressure on. His teammates didn't really join him. Doyle goes over the top. That's a hell of an idea. Smith stretching his one-on-one with the keeper. Hits it. Yes! What a goal! Out of nothing, Doyle! He runs at the side of the pitch celebrating. It's a worldie. And Smith stretching. Just couldn't quite reach it seemed, but must have got enough of it. It sat in front of him. Sanchez, frankly, I think he got his handle wrong. Nearly got intercepted. Delap, great strength. He's being fouled, surely. He keeps going. He shrugs off Hyam, bursting through the middle. Clever pass to Garnacho, left side the box. Cleworth comes to him. Garnacho slots it off the line. Oh, and it's in off Okonkwo. What a cruel way to concede an equaliser. It's an own goal. Okonkwo had nothing he could do about it. As the ball is swept at near post. Poor one. Garnacho heads it away. Windass drills it. Yes! It's deflected in. I think it's Doyle, is it? He slides in celebration. Of course, we got to wait for VAR, but Wrexham, we think we might be winning, you know.
Well, it's Doyle who wheels away, but it just came back out, didn't it? Again, Chelsea deal with that corner at first, but then it drops to who exactly they wouldn't have wanted to drop to, Josh Windass. And it's that thing again, technique. Get your foot over that ball, get it back in there, and you never know what might happen.
Good ball out to the flank by Adebayo. Neto now. Two players doubling up on him. Broadhead sticks with him as it's fed back to Andre Santos, 35 yards out. Poor ball. Dobson intercepts it and then loses it. And Santos slits it into the box. Guillau's there and scores. Oh, and Dobson has played so well. And he just, well, he had the ball and I don't know, he almost seemed surprised at first that such a poor pass being played to him. But he must have been off balance, lost it. And Chelsea are right back in it again. As Doyle comes forward, so Chelsea down to 10. A hell of a run over top by Thomas, and Doyle's picked him out. Now there's possibilities. Drills it. Hell of a save. Windass with a header. Puts it wide. Unlucky. The sort of snapshot, opportunistic chance that is difficult, but Windass is capable of, and he just didn't hit the target. Unlucky. And now Garnacho trying to use his pace, rides Cleworth's tackle, then is shot down by Dobson. And it's a yellow card, surely. Cleworth has hurt himself in that challenge. And he's off. And he said, the referee said he caught him high with intensity. Switch it from side to side, looking to stretches. Neto again fakes the cross, feeds it in. Asugo's cross, a brilliant one, and Garnacho scores. He smashed it in, and it hits the goal support and bounced back out. Nobody seemed quite sure if it had gone in or not. It hit the net support. I guess my question is, it offside? But it was a great ball then.
No, it looks onside to me at that back post. It's a brilliant ball.
Driving down the right, finds Barnett. Barnett, first time cross is a good one, and it drops to O'Brien, left foot! Oh, so close. It was a lovely idea. It looked like he got it right. Scrapes the left post. What a hit. Garnacho available to the left. He might hit it himself. Gets into the box on his right foot, drills it, and that is the end of that 4-2. And that is Jean Pedro. Absolute superb quality. He goes and he taunts the quiet section, and Chelsea have left a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth here, as has the VAR. And as they celebrate, the Wrexham fans make superb noise. Wrexham, we love you.
Sometimes in life you just don't get what you deserve. Wrexham exiting the FA Cup on Saturday at the 5th round stage. We'll have to go again next season, but heads held high and a lot of admiration won from that performance, including, Mia, from a certain Wayne Rooney, who had a lot of very positive things to say about Wrexham, just to enlighten us about what he's been saying.
Yeah, I was listening to his podcast the other day after the game, and he was saying about since retiring, that's arguably the best game he's ever been to and watched. And I think there's a number of people who've actually come out and said that. I saw Martin Tyler, who was doing comms for one of the other streaming services, say how enjoyable it was. And just to see that sort of recognition, I think far too often the sort of media narrative is that Wrexham sort of maybe bought their way up the leagues, not necessarily play the nicest of football, but to see that for once is very nice. And I hope the players and staff have all seen that and really enjoyed that, because they absolutely deserve it for what was a top performance and a real graft and like we said on Saturday, a performance to be really proud of.
And of course that performance came off the back of 3 straight league wins, which consolidated Wrexham's excellent post-Christmas form. And we can have a look now at how Phil Parkinson's side compare to other teams who've gone really well since the festivities. And as you can see on screen, Wrexham in 2nd position, with only Millwall having been better since Christmas. Millwall picking up 30 points from their 14 games. Wrexham with 29 from a game less. Middlesbrough and Coventry both featuring in the top 6. They are, of course, in the top 2 places in the table, and look at the moment odds on to be the 2 sides automatically promoted. Norwich forcing their way out of danger with that run. Dior, one of the things that Mark Howard was saying to us post-match on Saturday is that Wrexham have built the kind of muscle memory of how to go on a run at the right time in the last quarter of the season. Of course you want to be winning every game, but will there be certain aspects of that where people say, well, it's great to go on a run now, but have they gone too soon? Or is it about now saying, well, every year that we've gone up under Phil Parkinson, he knows how to steer the ship in the last 10 games or so we're just in an even better position than we've been in the past? Absolutely.
Momentum and confidence is a huge thing, isn't it, in sport, and especially in football. And like you alluded to, they've done it in the previous seasons where they've got promoted, and to come right at the right time is key to having that confidence going in towards the end of the season. Everything's clicking, everything's gelling, a team's kind of picking itself, and you just go from one win to the next, and like you were saying earlier about energy, and winning and confidence gives you energy, and it's all up there, isn't it? And those boys are really showing that at the minute.
Andy, you at Charlton for the last win before the Cup took everybody's thoughts. Now that might not have been the best performance of the season, but as we can see on screen in a moment with a quick reminder, it was another decisive Ollie Rathbone goal that proved the difference. When you saw Wrexham that day, what were your overall reflections on how they went about winning that particular game?
Yeah, I felt they found it quite difficult. I thought Charlton were quite good on the day, and they should have scored. They just couldn't score. They had poor finishing at the end of a couple of decent moves. But what Wrexham did do is they found another way of winning a football match, which is doggedly defending their box. We ended up with about 6 defenders on the pitch at the end, because they had 4 or 5 strikers on the pitch, and we were just heading the thing out, putting our bodies on the line. And that clean sheet, fine save by Arthur at the end, really kept that clean sheet. Is so key. And when you've got somebody like Ollie Rathbone in there who just finds a moment in the game to just change a game in our favour, and it was completely against the run of play, and he just flicks it really cleverly onto his left, bangs it in across the keeper into the bottom corner, and you've got something then to hang on to. And I felt that they did that. 9 wins in the last 13 games, that's impressive. 2 draws, and they probably could have been wins with Leicester and Bristol City. You look back, maybe Charlton we shouldn't have won, but you flip it, we're going all right. We're doing very, very well, and this team, like we've spoke about before, has really evolved into a really good footballing machine. It's quite different to the football we were playing at the start of the season, and it's getting its rewards.
Well, a different face for Phil Parkinson to come up against in the dugout tonight. Someone he's not come up against before, because Bosnian Sergej Jakirovic was not a well-known name around the EFL when he took over at Hull in June of last year. Ruben Sellers' rather difficult run brought to a conclusion, but he's got a record of a very high win percentage, as you can see on screen there. 57.7 is really top quartile stuff in the world of football management. A lot of wins for Jakirovic, and he's earned a lot of plaudits this season. 2 defeats in his last 2 has been rather out of step with how the season has gone. And Mia, this is a manager that you've talked about before on this show as one you particularly admire.
Yeah, I think Hull have really excelled themselves this season. You've got to remember as well, they didn't have a summer transfer window. You know, they were really, they only stayed up last season on goal difference, by the way. You know, this is a club that were not expected to be at all where they are at the moment. And yeah, I think he's a really exciting manager. He won the league over in Bosnia and Croatia. And like you say, has come over with very little sort of expectation, but has come into a club and built a really good side. He's really adaptable tactically, so that really helps him from game to game, especially as we know in the Championship. That's something you've got to be, as we've seen with this Wrexham side, like Andy was touching on just then. And yeah, he's you know, built a really strong squad. When you look at some of those players in that team, you know, they're Championship, you know, proven, you know, the likes of Ollie McBurney, but then also sort of implementing now these younger players, Joe Gelhardt, Kyle Joseph, you know, these that he's now able to bring through. Obviously he's got someone like Charlie Hughes in that back line as well, really strong again. But yeah, he's a really interesting manager, and it's really exciting to sort of see where this team's going to end up come the end of the season.
Yeah, Mia mentioning there the silverware that has been won in the past by Jakirovic. Let's have a quick look at that now, because he might not be well known here, and the leagues in which he's excelled might not necessarily have the highest profile, but he has got a record of winning league championships. You can see on screen in the Bosnian Premier League with HSK Zrinski Mostar. He was the winner of the Bosnian Manager of the Season award as he took them to the title in 2022, and that earned him a move into Croatia with Dinamo Zagreb, and he picked up the title and the cup in 2024. That brought him to the attention of the Hull owners, and when Ruben Selej was shown the door, he was the man who was brought in place. And so far this season, we've certainly seen Hull causing Wrexham some problems. The Carling Cup tie back in August seems like a long time ago now, but it's worth a quick reminder of one of the most entertaining games we've seen this season. Hull flying out of the blocks that night back on a balmy evening in August, but Wrexham had some answers of their own. Bit of a walk down memory lane, this one, Andy. Elliot Lee scoring the opener, and then it was the Ollie Palmer show in injury time. This was his swan song for the club, and what a way to go out for Palmer.
Oh, absolutely. It was like set up for him, wasn't it? But I remember people leaving at 3-1, gone out the stadium, thought it was done, and then Ollie Palmer had different ideas of one of his last games. I think it was his last game for the club. Jack Marriott scoring the winning penalty. Well, probably his last game for the club as well. It's like, it's random, isn't it? That was actually this season. That's bizarre.
And it was sunny and warm as well. Wow.
Yeah. But Ollie Palmer just stole the show. You know, it was set up for him. He just put himself in the right areas, 2 brilliant crosses, and the game's back in. And I remember people funneling back in to watch the penalties afterwards as well.
And Dio, we were mentioning there Elliot Lee, Ollie Palmer, Jack Marriott, all strikers who've got on to new things. Elliot Lee up to Doncaster now, Ollie at Swindon, and Jack absolutely tearing it up for Reading. How nice is it as a former Wrexham striker yourself to see players who've also moved on from the club, like you did to Harrogate, excelling where they go next?
Yeah, it's good to see, isn't it? Because we're all lads wanting to earn a living, and at the end of the day, Andy will know we just enjoy scoring goals. That's why we play in that position. Some will argue hardest position on the pitch, we would say.
Oh,
so.
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
by a mile.
Good shout. Yeah.
But no, it's great to see them moving on, and it shows that there's a career outside of Wrexham. It can be really difficult when you're not included and you're not in squads, and you think you should be playing and you're on the bench, and then to move on, everything's new, families moving, location in the country geographically, and then to go and score goals and settle in, it's really good to see.
Elliot Lee scored an absolute banger on the weekend as well.
Yeah,
A brilliant
Donny.
volley.
Yeah.
Brilliant volley.
And we wish him all the very best, players who have lifted the roof here at the Stoke Kairas in the last few seasons. Well, the game at Hull earlier this season was a bit less memorable than the Carling Cup tie in August. This was a match played in mid-December on a Wednesday night, not one of Wrexham's best performances. A Kiefer Moore missed penalty in this game, and a reminder on screen now of how this one played out. Mia, do you think this is an example, though, of how far Wrexham have come this season, in the fact that this was the sort of performance that they seem to have left behind them in terms of not managing to offer a threat too much, and Hull having the dominance in that fixture?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was one of them that everyone came away from, obviously gutted, but also going, you're going to get them in a season, the ones where you're just not quite at it. I think Phil Parkinson said post after that game that he just got the sort of team selection wrong, should have rested a few more. There was a few tired legs in there that day. Obviously, Kiefer Moore as well. I think he had another chance earlier on in that game, which he should have scored, and then had the missed penalty. So again, on another day, we could have walked away from there with a point, but it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, it is those like that you look back on and go, gosh, we've come an awful long way since those sort of games.
Kick-off here tonight, 7:45, of course, UK time. Wrexham against Hull City. And another match coming up this Friday night as Wrexham face Swansea in the Welsh derby. A reminder, there's no match day live for that fixture this Friday, and we'll show you why a little bit later on in the show. But 3 matches in 6 days for Wrexham, testing the resilience and fitness of Phil Parkinson's squad as they turn their attention back to league action. Delighted to have Dior Angus with us this evening. Dior, clearly back on home turf again for you. You were very much part of the era that transitioned really from Dean Keats to becoming the Phil Parkinson early days. We stand, of course, now in this lovely position of standing toe-to-toe with Chelsea, being top 6 of the Championship. But just give us a bit of an insight into some of Phil's early meetings with the players, what some of his messages were when he walked in, because the situation in the club was very different then, and as he walked in, it was a challenge like no other that he'd faced before in his managerial career as he dropped down to National League level and to a club who'd yet to write their story.
Yeah, sure, it was a massive risk for him, wasn't it? He's never worked at this level, and he was coming in blind, really. It's working at that level and working at League One Championship is a different kettle of fish completely, and for him to turn around the way he has been incredible, and it's a credit to all the staff and all the players throughout the journey, especially Max, who was there in the National League and couldn't get in the team when Keats was there, to now be playing at this level, for him to transition so quickly, and his adaptability has been incredible. But no, Phil's got, I'm sure it comes across like a real strong ruthlessness, desire and drive to want to win, and that has showed, and for him to translate that to so many players throughout his tenure has been brilliant. But he's also kept that really strong nucleus of the team, and he understands when to bring players in, when to bring players out, and what the club need and what the fans want to see, and he gives a team that are, I feel, representative of the town.
And when you first met Phil, Dior, and listened to his tactical insights and the way he managed and motivated players, if you compare that to the managers you've had at the likes of Barrow and Harrogate and your days in non-league football, where does he differ from other managers you've played under?
Yeah, I think I've had managers that are way more into the tactical side than he is, but he wants to get the fundamentals in of work ethic, good shape, and from there then you can go and win a game or get a point and get what you need to. If you're leaking goals at the back, it doesn't matter how many goals you score, and he's transitioned the team from, maybe he's had criticism in the past, they don't attack enough or they don't score enough goals, but that takes time and it gets the right players in, and things need to click for that. And I think he's been patient with the way he's wanted to do things, and he's stuck to his guns, and that's really important. I think we see some managers try and change the way that they're playing when things don't go well, but he's stuck by his own tactics. Him and little Parky, we'll call him, bless him. They've really hung in there well. But he is quite small, isn't he?
It seems to me, Dior, that the culture at the club that he created to keep everybody happy when he's got a big squad and players that want to play all the time, how does he do that? How to keep everybody happy? I suppose winning helps.
It's a question that I put to Chris that I'd like to ask him after the game, because it's really difficult, isn't he? He's got 20 players here who could all start and all do really well. So when players come in, they need to be ready, and you know how difficult it is to be out of a team and then come in and need to perform, especially at this level. I can't even imagine what it's like. And you've got Sam Smith, who probably hasn't featured as much as he wanted to, and he's come in and he's been a massive part of this run. So staying in tune with those players and telling them what they need to hear at the right time is a big part of it, and he's obviously been brilliant at that with players like Sam Smith, and you're seeing the rewards of that now.
And Dior, your spell at the club, 18 months or so, really straddled the COVID era. We're going to have a look on screen now at your 7 goals for the club, and watching those back earlier today before we put the show together, made me quite sad that so many of your goals weren't seen live by Wrexham fans, because much of your football was played in that eerie time when no fans were allowed, and only really a few of the games were when the fans were back in the stadia. What was it like playing in that era? And I guess how disappointed are you looking back that more fans didn't have the chance to see you at your best for the club?
Yeah, I try not to live with any regrets, but one regret I would have is not scoring a goal when the stadium was full. But that's part and parcel of it. It's the journey that I took when I was there. And it was strange because we all get used to playing, whether it's in front of 300 or 15,000, you do get used to fans in, and it showed you how important fans were as a part of this whole football thing, because the money that's in the game wouldn't be there without these guys in the stadium. So yeah, it was strange, but it was part of the journey, wasn't it? And now when you look where they are now, it's great to see.
Well, we saw a couple of really good finishes there in that set, didn't we?
Quite the
Dior was
catwalk.
playing it down earlier when I said, you know, good finish. He's saying, well, it was mainly a few tap-ins, but it was a couple of really nice finishes there. If you look back, what was your favourite goal for the club?
I scored one against Bromley. I think Ty the French, he clipped it into the channel and I sort of just guided it over the keeper. But what he's not saying is, we did a one-to-one session in the summer and he said, when it gets chipped into the channel, just hook it over the keeper's head into the top corner. And then he showed me like 50 goals where he'd done that. So
Really? A bit of Andy Morrell coaching?
We did a one-to-one, yeah. I got Dior over and just did a session with him just to try and guide a little bit, maybe help a little bit, get him a bit of fitness, because it was COVID-y time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
time?
yeah.
So you could only do very, very small groups. But all of them, if you see 5 of the 7 are pretty much down that right-hand side, going off a flick or anticipating down the channel and then hitting across the keeper. And that's an absolute art, is that, to do that at the right time. And credit to him, he came over and we had a little session.
I love
Showed
that.
him a thing or two.
Exactly. I love that he showed you his own goals. That's amazing.
Well, we were sat there for 50 minutes watching my goals, and we trained for 10 minutes.
You paid
That's
him
what
well.
Glenn Hoddle was famous for when he managed England. It was like,
Watch
can't you
me.
do what I'm showing you? Watch, I'll do it. Now, why can't you do it? Andy, I also heard a rumour that you tried to sign Dior once in your non-league days. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I just told him before, and he can't remember it, but when I was at Tamworth, he was at Redditch, he was scoring shed loads of goals, lower league, and I thought, I'll go, I know his dad, Terry, so I rang his dad up, would he be interested in coming across? Yeah, no, he's going to go somewhere else with the manager, so I got completely pied off. But, yeah, I said I would have made a player out of him, but look, he's sat with me now anyway.
Oh, well. What ifs and maybes. Well, just to continue our theme with the strikers this evening, having Dior and Andy on the panel, we wanted to turn our attention to the women's team, because when you come to talking about prolific strikers for Wrexham women, then the name of Rosie Hughes goes straight to the top of the charts. She has, of course, long since gone well past 100 goals for Wrexham. She moved past 100 appearances not long ago and has enjoyed a renaissance this season under Jenny Sugarman. We had the chance to catch up with Rosie recently and learn a bit more about her wider footballing journey.
I don't think there was a start for me to playing football. It was more football had always been in me, and I guess it started having my first football team at the age of roughly 9 for my local team, Colwyn Bay. I always felt like a big fish in a small pond, especially in the local area, North Wales area. And I just always knew that I was, because I could just always score goals. Every team that I went to, I was just the pick-out girl, hoof it over the top and she'll put it in the back of the net. So yeah, it was very easy for me to get on in teams.
Rosie Hughes adds to an extensive collection of Wrexham goals.
I mean, I eat, sleep, breathe and dream Wrexham, but I do have other things to me bar football. I do work for the football club as well. I work at the foundation, and then I enjoy going to the gym. I love being outdoors, hiking, camping. I enjoy being indoors. I like reading, building Lego. Yeah, I enjoy being social. I love spending time with all these girls here, going away on away days, and I love doing everything that's new, and anything that anyone else can do, I always think I can do, and I want to have a go and just make the most of my life, while I can. Yeah, I think I've played football, my whole life, over 20 years playing for different teams. You don't necessarily feel the pressure. You have the same nerves as what everyone else has, and that's just good nerves that you channel into the game. I think the only time I've ever felt pressure is when I've not been performing well. So when you've not been scoring goals, that's when you start to feel the pressure. And the Wrexham ladies definitely have the loudest crowd, home and away. And it really picks you up because they're always the best when you're in a pickle yourself. So if you've conceded or you think you've made a mistake, it's always the crowd that pick you up, and that really reminds you to be better, to try harder, to continue your fight and push and not to give up. Of course you've got each other teammates, but you can hear the crowd shouting you, and they've got a lot of chants now, so I'm sure all of us have got our own individual chant, and that's fantastic because I know it's coming after I scored a goal, and that's part and parcel of why I love scoring the goal, because I wait for it and it makes me smile, and yeah, and it makes me want to be better and try harder. We're making history for women's football, as have, you know, the Lionesses and things, and other female football and sports women alike all around the world. But we are definitely creating something here in North Wales and putting Wrexham on the map, and doing it for not just young girls but also boys, recognising that girls can play football too, and it's becoming a lot more of a recognised female sport than it ever used to be, especially when I was in school and having to fight to be on the football team. But hopefully now it's a bit more fluid, and it's for both genders.
Wrexham women's striker Rosie Hughes talking us through her footballing journey. The Wrexham women, of course, sadly beaten by Cardiff City in the Bute Energy Welsh Cup semi-final at Aberystwyth on Sunday. So no treble for Jenny Sugarman's side, but they remain very much fighting it out with Cardiff for that Adran Premier title and the chance to turn a single from the Adran Trophy into a double in a few weeks' time. We'll come to their remaining fixtures in a moment, but Mia, Rosie Hughes writes her own scripts really for Wrexham in terms of what she's delivered for the club. It's been interesting though, hasn't it, over the last couple of seasons, because last year under Steve Dale she found herself out of favour quite a bit. Abby Iddenden prepared and Rosie on the bench, but she seems to have had a second wind really under Jenny. Why do you think that is?
I think she realised that she needed to do more, and that's, you know, complete honesty. I think she clocked that, listen, she's always been and always probably will be one of the fittest in that squad. You know, she can run laps around pretty much anyone probably in that league, but I think she recognised her game intelligence needed to improve, and that's something she's definitely worked on over the summer. If you compare her performances from last to this season, you can see that she's a much smarter player now. She reads the game so much better, and as a striker, I mean, these two will tell you, you absolutely need that as part of your game. It can't just be hoof the ball over the top to Rosie and she'll beat a defender for pace, because at the level they're playing at now, that doesn't suffice. So she's absolutely had to work on that, but what a character she is to have in that squad. Honestly, I can't tell you the amount of positivity she brings to each and every training session. She's mad as a box of frogs, absolutely, but you need that. You need them sort of characters to pull you through, especially after, you know, times like on Sunday. They'll be absolutely gutted because they would have absolutely been determined to try and get that treble, but I'm sure she would have been in the change room afterwards lifting that sort of vibe up again and getting them to go again ready for TNS on Sunday.
And of course, in the early part of her Wrexham career, she was working at Wrexham Prison. She was in the prison service. She then took a change from that and joined Wrexham to work in the foundation. And the role seems to really suit her, doesn't it? She seems to be very involved in all the community projects, and of course a great role model when she goes out locally and more widely.
Absolutely, she just loves everything to do with Wrexham. She's really bought into it. I think, you know, she's really taken the time to sort of learn what it means, everything about the club, not just on the pitch but off it too. And the job she's doing in the foundation's brilliant. I mean, you know, to see the young people who get to work with Rosie, and, you know, to them she's their absolute idol in terms of the amount of goals she's obviously scored for the club, and the absolute hero she is, especially to those younger girls who can have that sort of touch time with her. And I think that's brilliant. You know, the work that the foundation is doing and that Rosie's doing is incredible, and, you know, hopefully it just continues.
Let's have a look then at the run-in for the Wrexham women, because they are also getting to the business end of the season and have got league matches in front of them from now until early April. 5 to go then for Jenny Sugarman's side, starting with this Sunday at home to the New Saints, so a local derby against the team based just down the road in Oswestry, and then straight back to Oswestry the week later for the return fixture. Then it's a long midweek trip down to Swansea City, who aren't out of the title picture quite yet themselves, Then it's old adversaries Cardiff at home, and then the season finishes with a home game against Swansea. So if you haven't yet made the journey to the Rock and seen the Wrexham women's team live, strongly recommend you take one of those opportunities between now and the end of the season to see Wrexham women at their new home ground and enjoy a really entertaining afternoon of football at a bargain price. So get behind Jenny Sugarman's team. You might even be tempted to join the Ultras, Wrexham's home and away army. So get yourself down to the Rock if you can. If you can't, then of course follow all the club's social media for where those matches will be available. Many of those will be streamed free via the club website. Now, I mentioned earlier there is no Matchday Live this coming Friday for the Swansea City game, and that's because there are a couple of guest commentators popping across to take that job on.
Wrexham is an incredible team. I'm not sure I can actually process what happened. I'm still a little speechless.
I think we can hear how it feels to the town.
Anything can happen in this sport.
So Rob and Ryan coming across to take on the microphones for that match this Friday. Make sure you tune in for that one and see how they get on. I'm sure they'll be mighty entertaining. We'll be back here for our next Matchday Live when Wrexham next play at home, which could be in mid-April, because the next scheduled home fixture after Friday was going to be Southampton on Easter Monday, but due to Southampton's progress in the FA Cup, that match is almost certainly going to be moved. So check out again the Wrexham social media channels to find out the details. But at the moment, the next scheduled home game after Friday is the home fixture with Stoke City on April the 18th, so over a month away. 4.5 minutes to kick off here. Behind Dior Angus and I are the teams making their way out this evening. The rain is just about holding off. Dior, if we look at tonight's match, there can always be the risk, can't there, of a kind of after the Lord Mayor's show, but Wrexham will want to get the fans behind them early on. How do you think they might try and approach these first 15 minutes?
I think the first 15 minutes are really key, aren't they? Get the noise up, which is loud. But I don't think Wrexham need to worry about any cup hangovers. They've been on an unbelievable run, and momentum will keep them going. I don't think Saturday would have taken too much out of them physically or mentally, because they're in such a good place. It was a free hit for them, wasn't it, really? And they go into tonight. I think Hull need to win more than Wrexham do, so let's go and get it.
Dior, thanks so much for now. We'll see you again post-match. Don't forget, if you want to appear as part of the broadcast today, then your opportunity is with a fan wall. You can scan the QR code on screen and you might appear on the big screens in the stadium here at the Stoke Kairas, or on the holding slate that we have up during the periods of play here on Matchday Live on the virtual wall. So take your picture, tell us where you're watching from, and you might see yourself back on screen. It's time for Dior and I to wrap up for now. The players are going through their handshakes. We're almost ready to kick off. Can Wrexham find another big performance to back up the heroics of Saturday, or will Hull City come and pick their pocket and put a dent in Wrexham's playoff hopes? Well, we'll have half an answer to that in about 50 minutes' time when we're back here at half-time with all the analysis and reaction from the opening 45 minutes. We look forward to your company there. Bye for now.
minute at a time. That's 1 minute.
Half-time here at the Stoke Kairas. It's Wrexham 0, Hull City 1. Phil Parkinson's side haven't had things their own way in the opening 45 minutes. The Tigers have worked very hard in central midfield and have earned themselves a lead in the 39th minute, which was almost doubled a couple of minutes later. The first 20 minutes or so was largely uneventful. Wrexham struggling really to get a foothold, but they did force the first real chance of note, a Josh Windass drive parried away by Ivor Pandur. But the game really sprung into life in the 39th minute. Callum Doyle with a body check really on Charlie Hughes, conceding a free kick just outside the edge of the box. And up stepped Joe Gelhardt, who Mia had referenced pre-match as a danger man. He put the ball in the top corner. Nothing Arthur Okonkwo could do to keep it out, and that gave Hull a 1-0 lead. It could have been dramatically worse for Wrexham 4 minutes later. Again, Doyle, the man at fault, I'm afraid. Although he may contest that he got the ball first. Again, it was Joe Gelhardt who was involved for Hull. Referee Stephen Martin adjudging that Doyle had tripped Gelhardt in the box. And this time, though, Arthur Okonkwo came to Wrexham's rescue. It was an excellent save. Gelhardt himself stepping up with the penalty. It was low to Okonkwo's left, and Okonkwo pushing it away. That has been a key moment late in the half. You feel Hull's 1-0 lead would have looked so different if it had been doubled. Wrexham remain very much in this game, but much you'd think for Phil Parkinson to discuss with his players at the interval. Andy Morrell, Mia Roberts and Neil Roberts join us at half-time. Lovely to have a family affair here on Match Day Live. Neil, let me come to you first. Lovely to have with you on the show. First time in person. We had you on Zoom last year, but good to have you in person in the studio. What did you make of the opening 45, Neil?
Yeah, I think just picking up on what you said there, I think there's plenty for Phil to discuss, and I'm sure there's a few messages being exchanged in the changing room now. But like for me, I think it's just taking it back to basics. I think Sam Smith's been a little bit too isolated up top. He's making some great runs in behind, and I think it was more than anything. I think it was try and relieve the pressure. I think from for the back five, and try and get into spaces further up the pitch and support Sam. So. Hopefully we can use that penalty save as a platform to take us into the second half. We're still very much in the game, and I'm always confident at the Kairos that we can score.
Mia, Callum Doyle the standout on Saturday, but he's seen how quickly the pendulum can swing in football 3 days later. A difficult first half for him. What did you think about the penalty, having had the chance to have a look at it again?
Yeah, I think it's really good play by Hull. I think Ollie McBurney, as per usual, has been up to all sorts, sort of up top, just running pretty much everywhere, getting across every single one of that back three and causing all sorts of problems. Just dropping in that hole at times and sort of saying to Dom Hyam, "Are you going to come with me, or are you going to stay over there?" Because he just can't make up his mind. And Viner and O'Brien are already occupied, so he's just got all that space. And it's just really good link-up play from him and Gelhardt, and Gelhardt just gets there early. Hull, they just look that little bit sharper. They're a few seconds just ahead of Wrexham at the moment, and that is causing Wrexham all sorts of problems. Like my dad says,
you can call him that, Mia. He is your dad.
Wrexham are sort of causing their own issues in the sense of they just can't release that ball quick enough, and just haven't got that sort of calm, composed head. We go back to it again. It's the sort of games like this where you just think, we're really missing a Sheaf or a Matty James, just be in that middle of the park and just get a sort of grip of it. But I think hopefully it will come, like you say. I think that penalty, you've got to hope that's the bit of that wake-up call that team probably needed in that first half.
Andy, momentum is always so important in sport, and that will feel almost like a win for Wrexham, won't it? Okonkwo making that save just before half-time, because if you go in 2 down, knowing you've got tired legs in the dressing room from Saturday, then it's a long road back. But that will hopefully give them that burst of energy to believe they can come out, turn in a different performance and turn it round, going towards the Kop, of course.
Yeah, I hope the goal was going to be the jolt that got them sort of going. When you go a goal down, we've got to play here, but then it's a penalty. It's a brilliant save. It's actually not a bad penalty. It's a good height for Okonkwo. But hopefully that's given us that jolt that goes, no, come on, we've got to be better than this. I just don't think we've played the conditions particularly brilliantly. They've just put it on us, put it on McBurney, turned us around, had us running back towards our own goal, had Thomason going that way, Longman going that way, and that's just put us under pressure, literally territory, and then they've been able to keep the ball a little bit better. When we've got it, we've just been so poor in possession. Little intricate passes where it's just too tight, overplaying at times. We've just got to be better, more simple really. Let's play off Smith, let's go and get our 2 boys round him, and let's help him a little bit, and then just go and take the ball from there. That enables us then to get our wing backs up, and then we can play like we have been playing.
Let's have a look at the statistics then for the first half to see how they played out, because certainly watching from the sideline it did look like Hull had the better of both possession and territory. That said, Wrexham did create the first real opportunity of the night from Windass. It was a decent save from Pandur to deny him, and indeed Hull having the better of the possession. Only 54-46 though, 7 shots to 2 tells a story, and they've also forced 3 corners to 1. Let's have a look at the defensive statistics. because Wrexham have spent quite a bit of that first half in their own half. They've had to win more tackles, and look at that stat there, 18 clearances to 5, just making the point again that they've had to defend a little bit more deeply. Mia, you talked about the point of no Matty James, no Ben Sheaf to turn to. There aren't obvious central midfield options on the bench.
No.
If Phil did want to change it, where do you think he might go?
I think, if any game, you always look at someone like Ollie Rathbone to come in and just give you that bit of energy, that little bit of life, just in there. I think he could certainly bring something. Listen, I think Zach Viner can absolutely do the Sheaf and Matty James role. He's tried to do it a few times. The passes just haven't come off. Sometimes that's, just the look of the draw. Andy said it on comms earlier on as well. There's been a few opportunities where we have come forward and just that wind's got behind the ball, and it's just meant when one that would usually go out for a corner has stayed in and gone back to Hull, and it's just come straight back on us. So we've been a little bit unfortunate in those areas. But listen, we've got a really strong bench, and I think if it stays how it is, I don't think it'll be long before Phil probably does turn to that.
Mia, Andy, we'll let you have a little breather for now before second half commentary duties. We'll see you again at half time. Thank you for joining us. Neil, that gives you and I a little bit of an opportunity to catch up more widely. First and foremost, how's the bar going?
Yeah, you know what, it's been a really great success so far. Touch wood, we're coming up 2 years next month, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The locals, the public, Wrexham have been brilliant, and they've supported us throughout those 2 years. So hopefully that continues, and we're doing well off the back of the football. It's obviously a real bonus to us having nights that at the Kairas and having everyone come back to us afterwards. So
was Saturday busy?
Saturday was crazy to say the least, but it was brilliant. We've got a real great atmosphere in there, and like I say, we just got to keep on improving in there and providing a good service for all.
But having got through the first 2 years, that must give you big heart, because there's a horrible statistic, isn't there, about how many small businesses fold inside 18 months, really. So to be through 2 years, you've got your foothold, and hopefully even better things ahead.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's, like I say, it's all about continuing to improve and not resting on your laurels. I'm very fortunate that I've got some very good business partners alongside me, and I'm not on my own in that respect. So very grateful for that, and like I said, if we're able to continue to provide a real quality service, then I'm sure people will keep coming back.
Now, Wrexham against Hull tonight, a good opportunity, Neil, for us to reflect on your time at both clubs. We can have a look on screen, of course, at your 2 spells at Wrexham. 2 very different eras, Neil, and of course your time at Hull, which we'll come to in a minute, was between the 2. But when you look back at those 2 spells that you had at the club, from when you first broke through here in '97 up to February 2000 before your move to Wigan, and then that second spell when you came back 6 years later, I'm guessing your reflections and your memories of those times will be quite different in those 2 spells you had here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously as a local boy, making my debut for the club way back in 1997, it was it was a completely different club then. But having said that, the feel of the place, it's still a family club. I'm really delighted to see that they're trying to keep that ethos about the football club. That's what we're about. The next thing for me is trying to follow on in the likes of Max Cleworth's situation and produce young players that come through the academy system, and I'm sure that's definitely on the radar for everyone involved at the club.
Yeah, Glyn Williams and the team doing a lot of good work. Craig Knight, of course, and that great run in the FA Youth Cup this year will hopefully inspire the lads to go even better next time. If we come back to your first spell, Neil, and we're going to have a look on screen now at some of your goals from that time. That earned you that move to Wigan Athletic. What was it like moving on from Wrexham to Wigan? Was it a very different culture?
Yeah, I think Wigan, not too dissimilar from the situation we find ourselves in now. A very influential and financially stable position Wigan were in at the time under Dave Whelan, and his intention was very clear at that time, was to get to the Premier League. And like I say, it's no different to where we find ourselves at Wrexham now. So yeah, that was that was an opportunity for me. It was also a nice opportunity for the football club to bring some much needed cash injection into the club. So yeah, special times, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time both at Wigan, but again, my time at Wrexham is super special.
Absolutely, and 2 spells, of course, here. A very short interlude at today's opposition, Hull City, at the old Booth Ferry Park ground up there. What are your recollections of that short stint up there in East Yorkshire?
Well, I think it was a case of me coming back from injury, and they had a couple of suspensions at the time. So, yeah, it was an enjoyable time that I spent up there. I made 3 or 4 appearances, made some good friends. I'm still good friends with a couple of the boys now, and I think, yeah, it just comes down to having experience as a young player. I'd gone to Wigan in quite a big move at the time, and I think I maybe lost my way for a little bit, and I think the whole move, amongst others, was one that kind of got me back on track, and I was able to sort of get my fitness levels up and get back into the Wigan team, and eventually got promotion to the Championship.
And that was some achievement back then. Well, Neil, I can see the players out for the second half. It's time for us to wrap up. Great to see you as ever. All the best, of course, with Bar 33. We'll see you on Matchday Live, hopefully again soon.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Neil Roberts, former Wrexham centre-forward and Wales centre-forward, of course, joining us on Matchday Live. The players are out for the second half. It's time for us to wrap. We hope to see you at full time. Can Wrexham turn this round? Wrexham 0, Hull City 1. We look forward to your company in about 50 minutes' time. Bye for now.
Substitution for Wrexham leaving the field, number 26, Zach Viner. He's been replaced by number 20, Ollie Rathbone.
Amen.
leaving the field, number 20, Amir Hadzimatovic. He's been replaced by number 5, John Lundstrom. Goal scorer for Hull in the 63rd minute, number 37, Harry Maguire. He's been replaced by number 22, Kyle Joseph. Leaving the field, number 37, Paddy McNair. He's been replaced by number 6, Shemi Ajayi. Substitute for Wrexham, leaving the field, number 47, Ryan Longman. He's been replaced by number 12, Issa Kabore. And leaving the field for Wrexham, number 10, Josh Windass. He's been replaced by number 7, Davis Keeler-Dunn. Goal scorer for Wrexham, number 33, Nathan Broadhead. Substitution for Hull, leaving the field number 21, Joe Gelhardt. He's been replaced by number 10, Mohamed Balouni. Also leaving the field number 7, Liam Miller. He's being replaced by number 33, Toby Collier. Substitution for Wrexham leaving the field, number 4, Matt Stewart. He's been replaced by number 11, David Pengateri. And leaving the field, number 28, Sam Smith. He was replaced by number 16, Jay Rodriguez. Atención, wedi dynoddi yn y lleaf sy'n o 5 munud ychwanegol. The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 5 minutes added time. 5 minutes. chi I gyd am y cefnogaeth arbennig heno. Thank you all for your fantastic support. Mae'n dynol heddiw ar y stwc Caeras, 10,502. The official attendance at the stwc Caeras, 10,502. Our grateful thanks to the 1,276 away fans. We hope you have a safe journey home. Fydd y gêm nesaf ar y stwc Caeras ar y trydydd ar ddeg o fawrth yn erbyn Swansea gyda gêm gyntaf am 8 o gloch. The next home game at the stwc Caeras is on Friday, March 13th, when Swansea the visitors for our Sky Bet Championship fixture, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Cymer o bobl ddadl y stadiwm gan ddyn nhw'n siŵr nesaf adre I fawr. Safe journey home to all supporters. Please do take care when leaving the stadium, and we'll see you again on Friday. Not like that!
Full time here at the Stoke Caeras, and Wrexham's excellent recent run in the Sky Bet Championship comes to an end. It's finished Wrexham 1, Hull City 2. Wrexham doubled for the first time this season. Hull backing up their victory at home in December with a win on the road tonight. The second half couldn't have looked much different to the first, because in the second it was all Wrexham, bar for about 90 seconds. But in that 90-second period, Hull City did enough to add a second goal, and for Wrexham on this occasion it was too much of a mountain to come back. Hull led, of course, by a 0-0 at half-time. Joe Gelhardt's excellent free kick in the 39th minute. The difference between the two sides: Phil Parkinson made an immediate alteration at the interval. Ollie Rathbone coming on for Zach Weiner, and Wrexham looked much the better for it. They were dominant for the first quarter of an hour or so in the second half, playing with pace and intensity and asking questions of the Hull City backline. But after an hour, things changed significantly. Josh Windass dispossessed in midfield. Hull switched play to the other end. Initially, Arthur Okonkwo did really well to deny Liam Miller, but from the resultant corner, it was Miller's cross that was headed home by Lewis Kumas to double the Tigers' lead. That proved to be too much for Wrexham to come back from. Issa Kabore was inspirational off the bench, causing all sorts of problems down the right-hand side. It was his delivery which was turned home by Nathan Broadhead for his 8th of the season, a quarter of an hour from the end. That gave Wrexham hope, and they had one or two opportunities. Keeler Dunn and, for the first time, Cadamarteri deployed from the bench by Phil Parkinson, as was Jay Rodriguez. And it was Rodriguez who had the best chance 5 minutes from time. Keeler Dunn's delivery, but Rodriguez couldn't get his angles right with his header. Wrexham continued to press, but Hull were strong defensively. Ultimately, this was one that Wrexham couldn't turn around, and Hull City complete a victory on the road to put an end to their recent run of back-to-back defeats. Wrexham beaten by 2-1. Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell have been on commentary. Dior Angus is back with us again. He's been watching the game with me for the last 90 minutes. Mia, what are your reflections on that one?
Yeah, I think I'd just echo most of what you've just alluded to, really, Chris, in the sense of I think we just gave ourselves far too much to do just in those sort of last few minutes. It just didn't really feel like it was going to happen. Even when Phil has deployed the more strikers on the pitch with Jay Rodriguez, Cadamartri and Davis Keeler-Dunn obviously coming on as well. Listen, I thought Issa Kabore is brilliant when he came on. I think that's an absolutely exceptional cameo from him, and he's the reason why we've got one back, and could have maybe been the reason why we got actually something out of that game, but wasn't to be in the end. I thought we were, if anything, more direct really in the first half when just trying to play it to Sam Smith than we were actually when we then had a few more strikers on the pitch in the last few minutes. I thought maybe we were just a bit too slow, and it wasn't Wrexham's day today. I'm not sure whether that's a bit of a sort of hangover. I'm sure Phil will be quick to say no to that from Chelsea, but it did sort of feel a bit like that, sort of just couldn't quite lift ourselves at times, which isn't like this Wrexham team at all. So, I think you've got to hold your hands up and say they're allowed some of these days. That's what I said about the reverse fixture. It's just a shame that both of those have sort of come against Hull, really, because, like you say, the first team to do the double over us. So, that's something he'll be really frustrated at. But listen, again, not long now till the next game, so they've just got to turn and go again.
Andy, we discussed at half-time, and you made the point that Wrexham just didn't have that usual grip in central midfield in the first half. In the second, that was much more evident, but having had such a good spell, how difficult is it for a player to look up and see the opposition with their first attack of the half suddenly go down the other end, score, and it feels like all the work you're putting in to get back in the game has kind of gone to pot?
Yeah, well, I thought Hull set up really, really well in that second half. We don't need to get beat, we're not going anywhere, we're just going to defend low block, and then when we do get an opportunity to transition and counter, we'll just go at pace and you'll be able to pick them off, because Josh Windass got caught a couple of times, Broadhead a couple of times with the ball, and then they're just sprung at us and onto us. I thought they played quite well, Hull, so you've got to give credit where it's credit due, but we did have definitely a lot more possession in that second half, and we just couldn't find any gaps at all until we had the subs come on and just give us a little bit of a lift and a bit of pace, a bit of energy, which was Kabore, and then Keeler-Dunn as well, comes on and just helps out that energy of just making a run that maybe one of the ones before wasn't making, and then that gives a bit more room to Broadhead, and we just looked a lot more comfortable in that second half with the ball. We were a lot more crisper with it. We just couldn't get on the end of it. We got the goal and I thought, here we go in. Didn't think our set pieces were particularly great today. We kept hitting that front man, but we just didn't have enough to get over the line in the end.
Dior, how big a miss was Kiefer Moore today in terms of not just the fact he didn't start, but the fact he wasn't an option to come on when you're chasing a game like that?
Yeah, we said, didn't we, certain games need certain types of strikers, and unfortunately today I think we needed him because balls were coming into the box, and just to cause a bit of a melee in there for first contact, and then it knocks down and anything can happen from there. So it's a bit of an if buts and maybes situation, but it shows what a big loss he is. But I think players that stepped in, Sam Smith worked his socks off. He didn't really get any joy there, but it did show what a miss Kiefer Moore can be.
Let's have a little look at the statistics then from today's game, because I think we're going to see a rather different picture in terms of possession now at half-time. I think it was 54% to Hull and 46% to Wrexham in the first half. And look at how that has shifted over the 90 minutes. That shows you the hue of the second half, because over 90 it swings to 63% at Wrexham side and just at 37 at Hull. It really was Wrexham with the ball for much of the second 45. The total shots ends up being almost even Steven at the end, and Wrexham, having created less corners in the first half, ultimately had 8 over the 90. Almost all of those came in the second 45. Let's have a look at the defensive statistics, because it was the Hull back line who were pressed into service in the second half. John Egan partnering Charlie Hughes at the back to the fore for the Tigers. There was plenty of hard work going in to keep Wrexham out, and that meant 17 headed clearances were required by the visitors, but they did the job The men from East Yorkshire and Sergei Yakirovic's team are able to put 6 points of distance between themselves and Wrexham as a result of that victory. Mia alluded, Andy, to the fact that it might be a bit of an FA Cup hangover. How much of a factor do you think that was?
Well, obviously the energy levels wouldn't be going to be exactly the same as they were for that game. It's such a huge furore, it's such a world global game sort of thing. It's very difficult to go again, like we spoke about before the game, but it just pretty much took the subs to then energise the group, really. And we didn't have much choice. Central midfield, we didn't have a great deal of choice whether to go with that. But I still think that we had enough on the pitch to trouble them. We just weren't great with the ball. It was too intricate. Whereas I think if you saw them in the second half, it was just put it on it, turn us round, make us run back towards our own goal. And it's just hard. It's difficult. You just gain ground from it. And we didn't do that first half. And you can't give a half up in this championship because you get beat at the end of it.
Lewis Koumas, Welsh international, of course, Mia, with the ultimately the winner for Hull tonight, a player linked with Wrexham not too long ago. Did you think he had a bit too much space for that header? Nicely taken though it was.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball as well in by Liam Miller, and it's second phase, isn't it, from the corner initially, and I need to see it back, but you know, it's always difficult on those ones to make sure you back out again. And I picked out Lewis Koumas earlier on in the game and said actually how if there's one person you don't mind actually getting a header away, it's probably him out of that front line. And obviously came back to bite me a little bit, that one, but it's a really good header as well. He just needs to get that flick because Liam Miller's got all the pace on the cross. He's just put it into that area. Andy said it on comms, you know, it's one of those that even if it doesn't take a nick, sometimes the keeper's a little bit rooted and it can somehow just end up in the back of the net even without it sort of needing that touch. So Wrexham will be really disappointed with it, of course. You know, I think that'll be obvious from what Phil will probably say about how it is from that corner. You know, you think you deal with that first one, then it comes straight back in, and especially in that second half where you feel like they just needed to not concede that first one and just try and get that equaliser to begin with.
Dalis Keever-Dunn, Dior, getting a few minutes. We saw him get a few against Chelsea on Saturday, had a few more tonight, about 20 in the end. What was your perspective on how he showed up?
Yeah, I thought he was really productive when he did have the ball. I mean, a lot of play came through and he seemed to link up with Kabore down the right-hand side really nicely. And he's an intelligent player. I think I've played against him in the past, and you alluded to it when he was here before. He's got ability, and you knew that he would end up playing higher. So I think the more minutes he gets, I know we're drawing towards the end of the season, he could be a bit of a catalyst for Wrexham to create that bit of a spark, because when you play teams like Hull who do set up defensively and look to counter you, you do need that bit of creativity and a bit of magic, and sometimes the flow of the game doesn't go how you wanted it, and you do need someone who can just unlock that lock.
Yeah, hindsight's great, but I think we could have maybe done that a bit earlier with him. I don't know about Kabore and his injury and whether 20 minutes was the max for the sports science people or whatever. But maybe if we could have got on half an hour and given them a good stint at it, maybe that might have just gone a little bit earlier. But Captain Hindsight here.
Yeah.
In the end, it wasn't to be for Wrexham tonight, beaten by Hull City by 2-1. Let's have a look at what's been happening elsewhere in the Sky Bet Championship this evening and where it leaves the championship table. Wrexham, of course, are back in action on Friday night against Swansea City. They were playing tonight, so let's have a look at how they got on. And Swansea City 1 down at Portsmouth, so they're going to arrive here with plenty of confidence. Leicester beating Bristol City by 2-0. Andy Morell punching the air in the studio with his local team giving themselves a chance of survival potentially. They certainly needed that one. It's good news for Wrexham as well, because Bristol City still in and around the playoff picture. Millwall beating Derby County by 1-0. They're looking super solid for a playoff place at a minimum. We've touched on Swansea's victory at Portsmouth. Sheffield Wednesday picking up a point. Every point they earn is, I'm sure, one that they enjoy. Holding Watford, Wrexham beaten at home by Hull, as we know, and Ipswich fighting back 3-2 up at Stoke City with a late effort there. So Ipswich 3-2 up on Stoke City. I can see Phil Parkinson is on his way to see us, so we'll have a look at the table in a second, because we've got Phil coming in, and we're just going to sort him out with an umbrella because it's a wet night. Fine, yeah. Phil, thanks for coming to see us. Yeah. Overall reflections on that one?
Yeah, frustrating. First half, we just gave the ball away too many times in our own back third, really, and put ourselves under pressure. obviously they scored a free kick, and then apparently a great save from Arthur. And we had a couple of periods where when we passed it, we cut them open. But we just were masters of our own downfall a bit. And second half a lot better, passed it better, made less mistakes with the ball. And obviously they've scored, which is frustrating in terms of the dealing with that second phase. But we've kind of, really been in this tendency. Obviously they're always going to be dangerous on the break.
In that second half, you came out so strongly after the interval. You made your alteration, Ollie Rathbone on for Zach Vine. It looked like there was a lot more energy in the middle of the park. How difficult was it for the players then to have that sucker punch of that goal on the break?
Yeah, first of all, I think with Zach, he was brilliant for us against Chelsea, but it was a big ask because obviously he's playing in midfield and he hasn't played for a long time as well. And I just felt at half time that to protect him a little bit, legs wise, it was the right call to make then. And Ollie came on and did well. And him and Lewis in there linked the play really well. They've gone from being number 10s to number 6s with the injuries we've got. And I thought the subs Davis, Bailey and J-Rod did well, particularly Izza and Davis, who obviously had a longer period on the pitch.
Any reaction from Izza with the hamstring, or has he come through that fine?
I haven't spoke to him yet, obviously. Nothing's been flagged up, but I've literally just come out straight out of the staff room.
But it's really strong performance from him. He was creating a lot down the right-hand side. Nathan Broadhead gets one back, and then perhaps on another day you might have got an equaliser.
Yeah, I thought Longy was our brightest player first half. I thought he did some good things, and Izza's just that extra energy. Obviously Longy played against Chelsea, and Izza, he'd only trained yesterday, so the medical team were rightly saying, look, to start him would be a bit of a risk, but we always felt he had 30 minutes in him.
That first half performance, Phil, why do you think that might have come from in terms of not finding the gear you might seek?
Yeah, listen, I think I just said to the lads in there that people watching the game from afar will just say, that was because of the Chelsea game, the energy which was used up in that game. But then second half, we did a lot better when you think the fatigue would kick in the second period. So that doesn't quite add up. But it was just, we just had that period where, if you let's look at Saturday's game where we had a mixture where we slid the ball down the side for so much we got the goal from that with quality. The passes to him were overhit. We never quite found him, and subsequently we kind of just tried to play too short too many times in our own back third, and we just gave ourselves problems. And sometimes it's just decision making could not be quite there. And but second half we picked it up and probably deserved a point.
Overall, though, Phil, another top 6 side. It was always going to be a tough ask tonight. And if you look with a bit more of a wider perspective, still 9 wins from the last 14. And we were looking pre-match today, apart from Millwall, the highest number of points accumulated in the division since Christmas.
Yeah, no, of course. Listen, we're still in the top 6, but, never going to be pleased after a defeat. We've had a tough couple of days losing Kiefer, and I felt that flattened the group out a bit. And, that's injuries. There's... Obviously, we only really got the news this morning after his scan late yesterday. But that's part and parcel. We've got to be bigger than that. I thought Bailey, made a great run, put a great cross in for J-Rod when he came on. We've just got to kind of take this one on the chin, get the lads ready for Friday and respond then.
Phil, thanks so much as ever for coming to join us on Lucky tonight. Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson giving his perspective on the defeat this evening to Hull City, and as he mentions at the end, not long for Wrexham's players and management to wallow in this defeat, because a Welsh derby, undoubtedly a fiery one, lined up against Swansea City this Friday night. Just a reminder, no Matchday Live on Friday. Rob and Ryan on commentary duties, so we'll sure you'll enjoy their perspective for that one. We'll be back for the next home game. We're not quite sure when that will be at the moment. It might be the rearranged game with Southampton, which is almost certain not to take place on Easter Monday. It could be the Stoke game, which is way out on Saturday the 18th of April, with lots of away matches lined up in the interim. Phil clearly down there and in his reflection of the game, but I thought it was an interesting perspective about the fact that he said, well, people will say it was because of Chelsea, but actually we were much better in the second half than in the first. You'd have thought we'd have tired more after the break. What was your reflection listening to that thought?
Yeah, I think from him, I think the disappointment is that they were so poor with the ball in the first half. We were making little 4 or 5 yard passes and then sort of leaving it to the next player to deal with. And rather than just out our feet, we play Smudge down the side and then we get around him with bodies, or we're able to play passes that are a little bit further apart to spread out so Hull can't come pressing and nick it back off us. And that's what he'll disappoint him most, I think, in the first half. Second half, they were fine. Maybe that was the tactics of Hull sitting back a little bit and enabling us to have the ball, but we were loads better with it when we did have it. So I think he'll be really disappointed. But then he's got Friday, so he's the one that's got to lift the group now ahead of that. The players would be fine after Saturday because it went okay in the game, but this one was a little bit lower key, so now he's got to lift the group and go again very quickly.
Dior, when we talk about recovery in sport, people always think of physical recovery. You know, how far have you run? How fast have you run? What have your distances been? But how much tonight do you think was there an element about mental recovery? Because from a Wrexham player's perspective, your thought processes are going to have to be dialed to maximum to keep up with how Chelsea are moving the ball at pace and where players are running, where they're moving, different patterns of play. If you then come out tonight, and to Andy's point, you're not quite on it initially, a few passes are going astray. Is that, do you think, through mental fatigue perhaps as much as physical?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the magnitude of the Chelsea game, you don't need to get up for that because it does it for you. But this is, you've had a bit of a dip and you need to then raise yourself, teammates and everyone in the building. And it didn't quite happen, did it, for the first half? And maybe everything kicked into gear a little bit too late. So, like you say, football is as much of a physical game, but all of them players out there are on a par, really, ability-wise, but it's those that are dialed in the most and who can forget about the last one, whether it's a win, loss, draw, to go again for the next one. And that's where the levels really kick in. And you saw it in the second half, so it's within them, isn't it? And I think it was a good perspective.
Yeah, as a player, you know, we'd have said Callum Doyle was going to be playing Premier League very, very shortly because he's such a good player after Saturday, and he looked nowhere out of his depth playing against the Chelsea team that were club world champions. And then today, you put yourself in his position of he's got to mentally, with all the furore that's gone around him and how well he played on the weekend, he's got to go again at the same rate. Yeah. And do the same things mentally. And he's a young boy, he's 22 still. So that's going to take some time to be able to adjust to that. And it's not just him, it was the whole group doing exactly the same with that.
And that's about consistency, Mia, isn't it? And it's not just about in a one-off situation being able to perform, but as you go up through layers of sport, not just in football, but in other sports as well. You might look at golf or rugby, cricket, any number of others. Can you consistently deliver? It's one thing to have the toolbox and the skill set, but can you keep doing it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it? And I guess that's something that only comes with time and with experience.
Yeah, and it is, you know, making that step to being able to do it consistently on that consistent basis that for me is that difference between great players and absolutely elite world-class players. You know, that you look at the likes of someone like a Leo Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo who have sustained this unbelievable career for such a long period of time with very little sort of breaks in between where they've had a little off periods. It's just been so good, and I think that's something you can apply to this Wrexham team when you look at, you know, that desire, that mentality to want to win. You know, this Wrexham team, I know a lot of new faces this year, but over the last few years, you know, they've had to ask to go, can you do it again? Can you win again? Have you still got that thing burning within you that says, oh no, I want to do it again, I want to get promoted again? Well, they've done that, and again, it comes back to that sort of mentality and why that's so important equally to what you do sort of with your feet and physically, because it is just as important, I think.
And Andy, one of the things that we've talked about this season is teams going on mini runs that come to immediate halts in this division. So Sheffield United win 3 and then lose again, or Southampton have a little burst. And I suppose we've seen that now with Wrexham, haven't we? Because this is a couple of occasions that we've put together 3 wins on the bounce, and then it stops and you have to reset and go again. You know, there's no side that's going to win 6 on the bounce, it seems, in this division. And there's enough time really for Wrexham to go on maybe a couple of runs between now and the end of the season, because still a lot of matches to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've always said here that the group is really good at putting a setback back behind them and then looking forward straight away. So I'm sure that they'll reflect, they'll look at that, analyse it, but they'll be full focus on Friday pretty much from the morning.
We'll have a quick look at the league table now. Davis Keeler-Dunn is going to join us very shortly, who had 20 minutes tonight, Wrexham attacking midfielder. We'll have a quick look at the championship table before Davis joins us on Match Day Live. So table in front of us showing that Wrexham's defeat tonight sees a 6-point gap open up to Hull City in 5th place. Wrexham, though, of course, with that game in hand against Watford that was bumped by the FA Cup. Coventry and Middlesbrough in the top 2 positions, but Millwall knocking on the door as well, right up on the tails of Middlesbrough. They're going super well under Alex Neil. Victorious, of course, here at the Stoke Kairos just a few weeks ago. Wrexham with a 3-point advantage over Derby County in 7th. Southampton with a game in hand loom in 8th. Davis, thank you so much for coming to join us for the first time on Matchday Live this evening. So thank you for being part of the show. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, bittersweet. Obviously gutted for the boys in there. They've give everything, Saturday and tonight. But nice to get more minutes on the pitch and try and help the boys get a result out of it. But just needed probably a little bit longer to get more of an impact on the game. But the boys just give everything. It's just such a tough 2 games, and we just got to go again.
It's clearly been a very challenging few days for you. Everyone well aware of the efforts that went in for the Chelsea game. I'm sure a lot of supporters watching tonight, and for us as pundits, will look at those 2 halves and say it was a very different looking Wrexham in the second half to the first. From a player's perspective, why do you think that was?
I'm not quite sure. It's hard when you put so much into games. But you look at the last 10-15 minutes of that game, and we're throwing everything at it. It just shows you the mentality and the character of the boys in that squad and in that dressing room. And I've just been over the moon to join such a positive group like that since I've came in. And it's been a breath of fresh air with some of the boys in there.
Davis, can I just ask you? Obviously, coming in from Barnsley, getting a lot of minutes. Obviously, you've come in, and it's been a little bit difficult for you just getting in the squad in fits and starts sort of thing. How do you sort of manage that as a player, and how are you sort of working towards pushing, getting closer to that starting 11?
Yeah, I think it's like the cliche ones. You've just got to keep training harder every single day. The boys are doing so well in the league. They're putting 3 wins or whatever in a row on the bounce, and it's just like it's great to watch as well. And you sit on the sidelines and you think that the team's really, really good and we're doing so well. So you've just got to be patient. I mean, train hard, be patient, keep doing the right things, and like you say, you get your chance tonight, try and come on, affect it, get goals back. And I loved it out there, but obviously just a little bit gutted about the result. But look, it's a good job we got a game on Friday to go again.
Yeah, you touched on the group and how, just give to the viewers how important that is to be able to go again. Because sometimes we all know you can be in dressing rooms where, when it's going well, you have a few acid players who aren't playing and that. And when you are a collective group, it helps so much, doesn't it, to be able to say, look, we go again tomorrow, Thursday, whenever it is, to go again and ready for Friday.
Definitely, like you just said, I think the club's got the recruitment bang on with in terms of the players they sign, the boys they've got in the dressing room. And I think it's testament to the club and shows how well the boys are doing in the league. You've got to have experience in there and boys with the right mindset. The boys have had top careers in there, and it's by doing the right things day in, day out. And it's like I say, it's just it's a joy to come into a dressing room like that with boys who are in the prime of the careers, and they're still striving to do more and progress.
And since your first spell here, it's changed a little bit?
No, a little bit.
Only marginally.
You know what I mean? A lot, yeah. And I just said, it's so good to come into an environment that's just pushing in the right direction. Everybody is just so positive around the building. And the aspirations of the club, it's massive. And to be a part of that is so good. And when I'm working hard on and off the pitch, it's all in to get into that team and try and affect the games. And yeah, look, my time will come. I need to be patient. The boys have been fantastic, and it's one of those things in football. You got to be ready when your time comes.
I'm sure, Davis, you're keen to get more minutes wherever they might be, but if we were to offer you the chance to play anywhere, what would be your favoured position on the pitch?
The gaffer likes to play with 2 10s, and I love the number 10 position. I like to see myself as a number 10, and playing off a big striker, Kiefer, Smudge, Bales, anything that goes up to them, I want to be around them. So I like playing, if there's a number 9 up top as well, and the number 10, if there's 2 up top, I like playing that. But I like playing the top of the diamond as well. I'm quite versatile in there, but I like to be the number 10 sort of thing. But wherever I'm asked to play, I'll come on and give 110%.
And when that ball Bailey heads it back to you up in the air, your eyes lit up, I bet.
I was thinking to myself that the boys like, yeah, we backed you there, and I was like, I think I nearly swallowed the ball, to be honest. But yeah, I just snatched at it, I got a little bit excited. I thought, should I have taken a touch? I was a bit in two minds, and I was thinking, if someone comes and tackles you, everyone says, just why not shoot? So just smash it. So I think that'll just come with the sharpness as well, and once I'm getting more minutes on the pitch and getting into my groove, I think that'll come. The goals will come.
And just finally, Davis, between now and Swansea on Friday, you've obviously now had 2 hectic games in your legs as a squad over the last few days. Will the focus be on rest and recovery, or will there be some light training, do you think?
A little bit of both, I think. The boys in there are very professional. I think you've got to do the right things on and off the pitch. I mean, we've got a great group in there, and I think they'll be all preparing properly, really professionally to get themselves right for the next game, and hopefully back with 3 points.
Well, Davis, thanks so much for coming to join us. Hard lines today. We look forward to hopefully a better outcome on Friday, and hopefully to see you for a few more minutes as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Davis Keeler-Dunn, Wrexham attacking midfielder who got a few more minutes tonight off the bench here in the defeat against Hull City, one of the arrivals in the January transfer window from Barnsley, where he had been prolific. And Mia, we saw it a bit towards the end of last season, didn't we, where the Smith-Rodriguez combination really found its groove in the run-in. We've had a little bit of a taster tonight of Davis Keeler-Dunn. We got a tiny little taster on Saturday, a bit more tonight, but great for Phil to have some fresh face options now as he looks to evolve the side, as he always does, for the next phase of the season.
Yeah, and it's nothing new, him not sort of throwing these boys straight in, because that's not necessarily something.
In fact, the norm.
Exactly that. So I was quite surprised to see, the bit of furore on social media when people said, "Oh, they've brought him in and they're not using him." Well, no, that's always sort of been
Elliot
the plan.
Lee had to wait his turn.
Absolutely
Matty James,
Absolutely.
plenty. Callum Doyle.
You can go back as long as it goes, and you'll see that's been the case. But he's a player who I think is really exciting. He's someone who can, those sort of moments, like you say, when it drops, you just fancied him to absolutely hit it. And like you say, with Cadamarteri as well, I think, especially with Kiefer Moore, obviously we don't know how long that's going to be, but it gives him an opportunity. And, both of them, young guys, they'll be absolutely determined to prove themselves again at this level. I know Bailey Cadamarteri had that opportunity with Sheffield Wednesday, but he'll want to do it with Wrexham for sure. He'll want to be a part of the story and try and push them on to those playoffs.
I'm loving his enthusiasm, his positivity there. Come out in front of the cameras and go, no, yeah, it's a blip, but we're looking forward to Friday already. I'm looking forward to getting more minutes. I want to play. But just giving that positivity to everybody out there that, no, that's not just the end of it. We're done for the season. We are still right in the mix here. We've got a great opportunity. There's 10 games left. Plenty of points to play for.
And Dior, one of the upsides, I guess, from the issues we've got in central midfield at the moment is it could give more opportunities for a player like Davis, because if Ollie Rathbone has to drop back and play there because there's no James, there's no Sheaf, there's no Dobson, then you're going to need players who can step in the number 10. That's clearly, as he's told us, where he'd like to play. So one person's misfortune is one other's opportunity.
Yeah, of course, it forces the manager's hand, doesn't it, to making a positive decision going forward. And like Andy just said, like, really nice guy, good energy, and you can see that he'll do well because he's got good humility. He seems like a really good attitude, and it's not like, oh, I've come in and I should be playing. It's like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to wait for my turn, and then I'm going to prove my worth. And we all know from what he's done throughout the leagues, which is testament to him to keep doing it and keep moving up. And I'm sure this isn't his ceiling, and I look forward to him being in the team because he can definitely, like I just said, unlock those codes for those defences that are playing deep and saying, like, come and break us down.
And Andy, when you get to this phase of the season where you're getting into late March, weather in theory starting to improve a bit, pitches to getting a bit quicker, defenders getting a bit more tired after a long season, do you think players like Cadamarteri and Keeler-Dunn, who are young, with pace, enthusiasm, a bit of an unknown quantity at this level, might get more space and actually have more opportunity to have more of an impact than perhaps if you're playing midwinter, not so many miles in the legs of the defenders, weather less good?
Maybe a little bit. I just think
minimal.
I think they've got to really look to try and get in the team first and foremost. It's difficult for Cadamarteri, for example, because Smith and Moore have been excellent, but like Mia says, it's a real opportunity for him to have 10 minutes here and do well, puts himself a couple of runs in behind, helps on a little assist.
I don't
maybe,
like Smith did at the start of the
Riga.
season.
Exactly
You know what I
that.
mean?
He was just nibbling at 4 or 5 minutes, and then he gets a chance to go in, and it might be just that, right, let's just throw him in and see what happens for a game, because we've got no more. Smith might be just behind on his data. Right, let's just throw him in and see how he goes, and that just might be the thing that lifts everybody.
It's the importance of being ready, isn't it? And you can tell from his attitude, he's that type of lad that he's going to be ready. And then when he gets his opportunity, we know, we're pretty sure that he's going to produce.
Yeah. 25th space in the squad, Mia, still available. Can you see Phil doing something?
Healthy.
Ready to go, Andy?
Yeah.
You never lose it. You never lose it. You can't put a price on experience, honestly.
A wing back, maybe Mia's a bit closer than I would be.
I honestly don't know about that. Sorry, what was it?
Well, it's okay. And because Andy was putting himself in the frame, should Phil be seeking some experience up top? I'm just thinking whether or not that 25th space might get used, because it's still available, isn't it, for Phil? He could still look at it if the right player who's non-contract, out of contract anywhere else becomes available, potentially in central midfield, maybe wide left, from what he was saying about Libby Kakache, and there was no immediate evidence that he was going to be on his way back soon.
Yeah, it is just that, seeing if the right player's available. And at this stage of the season, it would be a bit of a miracle really that no one else has picked him up, or he's just gone under the radar. So it's one of those, but obviously that space is there. You do worry that there are certain positions in this squad at the moment where we are a bit light. Obviously you look at Libby Kakache, as Phil said pre-match, that one's just a bit of a one they can't seem to get over at the moment, which is just really gutting, because we've seen his potential, we've seen how good he can be, and we also know how good George Thomason is, of course, and he's filled in superbly. But at the same time, you don't almost want to box him into that position, because you think if he's so good there, could he also do that job in the centre of the park? And what him and Kakache could both do on the pitch at the same time together, if you like. So it's one of those. But yeah, listen, we have got a really big squad. We've got a very good squad as well, and it's up to them now to just try and do the business.
It's not just a non-contract player that they can bring in. He's got to be fit and bang at it and ready to go. We haven't got pre-season to get him up to speed or anything. They've got to be match fit, ready to just go dropped into a team and go, right, you're off playing left wing back in a team challenging to get out the league. Yeah. So that's very, very difficult to find.
Elusive. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Thank you, Mia, as ever. Thanks, Andy. And thanks, Dior. Fantastic to have you with us tonight. Great to see you. Working in school now as well, just briefly before we close. How's it going?
A PE teaching in a primary school. So,
yeah.
Trying to influence the next generation.
Oh, good man. Well, that's fantastic, Dior, and really nice to have you with us tonight.
Thank you for
Keep doing that, and hopefully we'll see you again on Matchday Live very soon. Yes. It's been lovely to have such a focus on the strikers tonight after we looked at the keepers with Eddie and Mark on Saturday. Defenders will come back to Mia. Yeah. We're on a strict rota system here.
Boring.
Dear Andy, Mia, thank you very much indeed. So not Wrexham's night tonight against Hull City. Before we close though, just want to thank one of the wider crew on Matchday Live this evening. I want to say farewell to someone you've not seen on screen ever on this show, but Katie Hall from the Badger and Coombs team has been an absolute linchpin of this show this season. She's on camera one tonight, and sadly this is her last show that she's supporting us. So Katie, we wish you every success with your next career move, and we shall miss you on the show. And Katie's from Hull, so what a way to say farewell. Her hometown team come to Wrexham this evening. The Tigers roaring into North Wales, and had far too much on this occasion for the Dragons. Full of roar, full of power, full of pace, and on this occasion Wrexham undone at home for the 5th time this season. Opportunity knocks though on Friday, straight back at it in the Welsh derby against Swansea City. Here's hoping that Wrexham can start their next run then and continue to fight for that place in the Sky Bet Championship playoffs. Thanks for joining us on Matchday Live this evening. We look forward to being back in a few weeks' time. Diolch yn wylio, and thanks for being part of it. Good night.